What are
Yeah.
you nerding out about now?
Charles wants to have a sugar daddy to pay for his utilities. That's the most adult statement I've ever heard. Hashtag adulting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all right, Joe. I still forgot to put something in here, so you go first.
All right. So last week you reminded me that Wonka is out on Max, and so I was like, "Ooh, I should watch that." And so my wife and I this weekend we watched Wonka, and I went into it. I hadn't seen any trailers. I had seen some of the promo images, and all I knew about it was that it was a prequel about Wonka. And so that's I went into it with basically no expectations. And I actually ended up really liking it. It was super cute, and we're gonna have our watch it with the kids probably this next weekend or the weekend after. But it was super cute. It was funny. It was good, and there were a lot of nods to the Gene
The Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder one.
The beloved version.
Yes. Yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Not so many nods to the Johnny Depp version, which, it's all right.
Supposedly was more towards the original manuscript.
I've never actually read them, so
I haven't either. Although I saw a section on TikTok being read the other day. It's like, oh yeah, we got to remember where stuff comes from sometimes.
But yeah, no.
Did you watch the Johnny Depp version?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Did you? Well, okay. It sounds like you didn't. Did you enjoy it?
It was okay. I like the original better.
I like them both separately, to be honest. I really do. Of course, I mean, who didn't? Well, okay, if you didn't grow up watching the Gene Wilder, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with 4 weird grandparents laying in one bed, you had a really bad childhood, and your parents should be reported at DFACS. So go watch it. Beloved, love it. I can mock some of it, and I mean, but it holds up, and right, the little things, the sound to open the door, and then just the song, so good. Yep. I separately really enjoyed Johnny Depp's it was Willy Wonka. It was, the title was changed somewhat, but I don't remember which.
So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the Johnny Depp one. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is the Gene Wilder one.
Okay, so I knew it was changed just slightly, and obviously I got them twisted. But I still really enjoyed it. But I can say, definitely not as many of those classic moments. There's just not the musical cues that hit you. The way Gene Wilder says the lines is definitively different and things, but I still enjoyed it. So nods to some of that. But
oh yeah,
you really enjoyed this Wonka separately.
I did. It was good. It was different than what I was expecting. I for some reason I was expecting it to be like him visiting where the Oompa Loompas were, like their island or whatever, and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And it
sure
it makes reference to him visiting their island, but I was expecting more of that. But it was good. It was a very good tale, and I like that it at the end it did what a lot of like based on true events ones will say, like, this is what happened to this character after type of thing.
Oh, I love that when they do that in a fictional movie.
Yeah, and so they went through some of the main characters and stated where they ended up after that, and it was they did a really, really good job. I'm going to spoil just one scene towards the beginning.
Okay.
Where
roll that dice.
well, so obviously music is a big part of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and so there is a part at the beginning where everybody's bursting into song, he's dancing, he's walking around, and then it clips over to a bystander looking at him, and the music completely cuts out, and he's just dancing in the middle of everybody.
It's like Star-Lord when we get to the Civil War or whatever, not Civil War, whatever the Infinity movie was. Yeah.
And then it cuts back to Wonka's perspective where everyone is dancing again real briefly. And so I was like,
that's fun.
The magic is in him. His perspective of the world is so magical. And so yeah, I really liked different things like that. But like even the actor, Timothy
Chalamet.
Yeah, that one. He did a really good job.
He's Dune.
I know. So he's just another person. He did a really good job of some of the mannerisms and even like how Wonka walks in like Gene Wilder, how he walks. And things like that. I just think he did a really good job with it. So I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
I am looking forward to watching it. And oddly enough, here's the thing. I tend to be a grumpy puss to these things when I first see them, because anything either touching my nostalgia or obviously quirky, like, ooh, look at us, we're quirky. I just like, get off my porch. So that was my initial reaction to watching it. When I happened to be at the movie theater with Aaron and Zoe for whatever we were watching at the time, and thought, oh, this is gonna be right up their alley. And they both were like, yeah, and turned their nose up at it. It's like, all right, cool, we're all out. But then I saw another trailer for it, and I just went, actually, kind of looks fun. Kind of looks like Mystical Beasts and Where to Find Them, or whatever that Harry Potter series is. It's like,
see, I think with Wonka, I think they did a really good job of honoring the Gene Wilder version while still doing their own thing.
That's cool. But to this day, like, I was going to pull it up the other night, and Zoe's on the couch just hanging out, not really doing anything. He's like, hey, I'm about to watch Wonka. You want to watch it? Nope. And she got up and left. I'm like, where did Wonka offend you? You're 9. You don't have enough life to get offended. What is wrong with you, little girl? I don't know. So I don't know, but I look forward to watching it. I am actually nerding out. I had to think about it. Because I like to be in the moment, not, oh, I'm a fan of this because Godzilla and King Kong are coming up. But I do have my opening weekend tickets for it, for a good screen, because I'm still a fan. But I want to live in the moment. What am I nerding out about this week? And what I'm really honestly nerding out about this week is living my words. And by that, I mean, I can feel myself getting stuffy. I've been out in the pollen all day, so I can feel myself getting stuffy. So I want to enunciate. So I felt like I said, literally my words. That's what it felt like it said. So hopefully it was closer to living my words. But when I went through my coaching, my business coaching, they were saying, what are your words? What are your things? If you described yourself, and we went through some games and some things, and my words came out, I am peace, I am wisdom, I am the catalyst. And they're not just things I try to live in, but they're really, if I were defining myself, that's some of the core principles I hold. And that's who I want to be. I want to be the person who brings peace. I want to bring the wisdom to the room. And I always want to be that catalyst for change. I've been known for saying inflicting change on people versus influencing change. But this week, man, we have something very, very biblical, talking about peace. Kid. Look, you don't get to drink as much scotch as I do without being a preacher's kid. I'm just saying, we're born with certain tolerance. Don't spit your Red Bull out, Joe. Okay. But I have been that catalyst over this last year of change, not just for others, but for myself, and going through that coaching and finally come around to, I can only be successful at what I do if I do what I want to do, who I'm born to do, or who I'm born to be, and the things I was born to do. That's what I'm trying to say. And instead of going with the ideas and what else, and I started holding lines and saying, no, this is what I want. this is what, and to the point, it's finally got to my business meetings where I meet. Now it's every Friday, so I have my meeting tomorrow, but it's been Tuesdays. But I meet with my staff, my leadership staff. And I have a leadership staff, man. I have a huge the boardroom table that's gorgeous that we fit 8, 9, 10 people at. Sometimes we have to pull up another chair. And I'm like, I never envisioned that, but that's my staff across 4 bases. It's really cool. And so I've been a catalyst for that change, but they actually are listening to me. And I don't mean just here's how we got to do this. Here's what I want y'all to do with these trucks. Here's my plan for moving things around. Here's my picture. But some of the advice, the life advice I give and the things that I say, and like the team plays. I said, we're not a family, we're a team. And if you want to ask about that, we can get into it. But that's the quick version is I hate when companies say family. We're not family. We're a team, and the team plays. And this is their season. And I'm not a sports guy, but this is a great analogy. Right now, you have to make the best team you can with the players you have, period. And we always try to go to the next season and see who we can get that will forward the team and be better. And we cut some of the people that just didn't make it this season, type of deal. And they're really leaning into that. You see, we're getting some quotes. A random kid put "nope" for you earlier, Joe R. 2024. Mine is, I can only be successful if I do what I was born to do. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And he's like, Charles stopped being a preacher and went to cult leader. Let me tell you, buddy, I might be the greatest leader of all time by the time history's done with me, because I pay attention. I learn from everything, from drug dealers to pastors to the biggest CEO in the world. It's all the same. You're a cult leader. You're getting people to drink your Kool-Aid. You're influencing them to see your vision, and you're getting them hooked into what can be better for them. I am by all means a drug dealer in my company, because I get people a taste of something. I give them a salary and a little bit of a better job position, and then they get hungry for more. Like, all right, we got to earn more. I gave you your free taste. Now you got to pay in. And we do that. So he quoted me, I'm all means a drug dealer. You need to be writing these quotes down. So at the end of the year review, random kid, we can just look through the year of quotes, because that would be fantastic. Just do your spreadsheet. Surprise me, baby. But that's the thing. That's how sales, cult leaders, preachers, great leaders of the world, same core principles. Find out what is important to that person and tap into it. Get them to buy in that you're going to make that happen or make it better, or feed that, and then show them how to do it for themselves. And that's what I've done. And that's where I am learning out about that right now. I'm finally getting to play with a celebrity. Now, not a huge hardcore celebrity, but I'm telling you, Joe, I'm always ahead of myself in the time frame of the world, because I said for about a decade before it happened, I said companies need to buy into podcasting, not just putting their own marketing out there, which is fine, but internal. It's a lot easier. And guess what? Nowadays, the biggest companies, they're no longer sending memos or they're doing internal shows and podcasts, because it is the best way to convey emotion, to have humanity by having a face behind the camera. Say, hey, I'm Charles McFall, the CEO of this company, and let me tell you what's going on. And you just put yourself into it. Oh, that's a great question random kid has. It actually plays into our how do I a little bit. We can play with that. I'm gonna start that. So I'm gonna stop going on and on and on. But the piece, right? I've brought it to where people are stopped arguing. It's I have really focused, I should say, in the last, well, most of my life, but really intensely focused in this last year at work, of cutting out all of the us against them. We are a team. Everybody we interact with, the clinics, we're team with the clinics. We're together. We are one. The patients, we are together. Their problem's our problem. Okay. And it's really paying off now, to where instead of trying to compare to the other part of the company, because there's a separate half of the company that I don't run directly, I indirectly influence a lot of the things that go on there. but it been all the well days and them's, and I've brought some of that piece together. I've been the catalyst for the change of people bettering their lives, and that's the thing. I use my power for good. All right, I'm Yoda of leadership, baby. I will always bend the force of my will, but it'll benefit the universe. Okay, but bad people do use this in bad ways. But I love that I influence people to buy cars and to buy houses and to get used to taking vacations. Because one, it's a better life if you can afford it. I'm not saying influence them like, oh, now, but there's a part of it of cool. I'm taking care of you well enough that you're investing in yourself, which means you're investing here. And when I see a car pull in with a new tag, I'm like, gotcha. I got you. You bought into the Kool-Aid. You bought into the vision. I got you. And that's great because I wanted you. I think we can build this team together really well. So I'm just living those words, the catalyst, peace, and wisdom. And it's really it's talking about being ahead of myself and talking about I've always known I could really play well with anybody in digital media space, any celebrity, anybody. I can hold my own, I can play well. And because everybody has weaknesses, and that's one of the things that I do well is I help match strengths to your weaknesses. I can help anybody. I've tried a few times. I worked with Jim Brewer. I worked with Adam Curry. I worked with yeah. Are you laughing at random kids thing? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Charles doesn't like being called an influencer. He prefers cult leader. Dude, there's a game called Cult Leader out there. I think it's called Cult Leader, but I have yet to get it. But I want it because I want to see how good I'd be at building a cult and having them follow me. I'm not gonna lie. So I'll wrap it up with I've been ahead of myself. I've reached out to many people. I call it on the come up. Many. Oh man, I can see you're going to be amazing in this digital space. You're going to be a huge TikToker. You're going to be a huge YouTuber. Let me help you refine that. And time after time after time, I might get accepted a little help. Like Jim Brewer took some help, and I got him to the next step. And peace be with him. He went on to bigger, better things in the digital space. I've worked with a lot of people that way, but or the ones, the sad ones to me are the ones that don't play with me. Because one, I think we play well together, so that's probably the bigger part of it. But a smaller part of it is a lot of stop it, Joe. Stop it. That's not how Mormons are supposed to listen to the words coming out of my mouth. In Joseph, book 1, chapter 9, it said, "The spaghetti monster shall not say dirty-minded things." Joe Ard. All right. You two, random kid and you are distracting me. This story's getting long because of you. So I'm finishing up here. I finally got to a point where I get to interact with this person on TikTok who's huge on TikTok. We're actually going to have him on the show here the next month or so. Huge on TikTok, but he got it when I said, "Hey," and we interacted with a few things. I'm actually working on getting them to Dragon Con. We're wrapping that up, and we'll be able to announce if it happens once it happens. Stop it, kid. But the thing is, I said, "Hey, I see that these things are clicking through your profile. I see that this isn't quite working for you, that isn't quite working for you." At the risk of we already had a phone call about Dragon Con. We already get to know each other for a little bit, but at the risk of overstepping, I would like to help. Can I help? And he's like, "Yeah." And then we've been back and forth, and we've been texting, and it's so cool to finally, after, don't know if you know this, Joe, in August, it'll be 20 years of digital media creation for me. Solid, podcasting, all that stuff. After 20 years, I finally got a creator who's going to be bigger than I ever could in the world that he's building. And he's going to be amazing. The world's going to know his name, and he's going to be fun. And
his name is John Cena.
That was too good. That was oh my god. All right, Stanicki. So yeah, I get I'm nerding out about being able to live the life that I've been wanting to live for a while. So there is that.